In this video, we're going to go ahead and start building out the new Expensify application. Now, before we can actually introduce React Router, we have to have a place to put that code. And what we're going to do is create our own boilerplate of sorts, something that we'll be able to clone when we're ready to build a new project. And we'll expand on that boilerplate as we add more features to our React apps. For now, what we're really going to do is clone Indecision app and gut it. We're going to remove everything specific to Indecision app, leaving just that bare bones framework with a few files and folders in place. So what's going to stay and what's going to go? Well, things that are going to stay are things that are generic, files that we're going to have in basically the same form, regardless of what app we're building, like our HTML file, our BabelRC file, package.json, webpack config, app.js, styles.scss. These are all things we're going to have regardless of what app we're building. Now, there are plenty of other things that we're going to be deleting completely. For example, we're going to be removing all of the components. These are all specific to the Indecision app. We'll also be removing all of the styles in the styles components folder. That'll give us a great place to build up from scratch. We'll still have all of the infrastructure and tooling in place, and we'll be able to be productive really quickly. So what are we going to do? Let's go ahead and clone this folder and start gutting it. I'm going to do that via the Finder on a Mac. Feel free to use the tools available to you on your operating system. You should be able to just copy and paste it. Otherwise, you can look for some sort of duplicate option. Now, once we have the new folder in place, we're going to go ahead and rename it and start gutting it. We can call this one right here, Expensify app, and we're going to take Expensify app and we're going to navigate to it in the terminal, and we're also going to switch Visual Studio Code from opening this folder to opening this folder. We do not want to gut the Indecision app. We want to leave that exactly as it is. Let's go ahead and switch over inside of Visual Studio Code to the brand new directory. And once we have the new folder open inside of the editor, I'm going to switch over to the terminal, and I'm going to shut down our dev server. I'll be using cd ... to go up a folder, and from here we have the Expensify app folder. I'm going to navigate into that, and we'll be doing the exact same thing in the second tab as well. Right here, navigating into Expensify. Now that we have both tabs in the correct folder, we can restart the dev server with yarn run dev server. Now we're running the dev server based off of the code in the new folder. So currently in the browser, things are going to look exactly as they did previously. But now we're going to start gutting things, getting it down to just the bare bones. There's actually no better place to start than app.js. So what are we going to remove from here? We're just going to remove the Indecision app import and its usage. So instead of actually rendering an instance of Indecision app, we'll just go ahead and dump something like a paragraph tag. This is my boilerplate. Then we'll be able to actually save this file, and the application will just remove all of the components. That means we can delete the components folder completely from the source folder. I'm going to completely trash the components folder, and then we'll make a new empty one right inside of source. So now that the components folder is empty, we're going to do the exact same thing with the playground folder. We'll leave a playground folder in place. We just don't want any of the current files in there. So I'll delete the folder completely and make a new one with the exact same name. Next on our list, we have the styles folder. Now, styles.scss is the main entry point, and we're going to leave that in place. We're also going to leave the base file in place and untouched, and the settings file as well. Now, I actually just said untouched, but we are going to make one small tweak. Inside of the settings file, I'm going to remove all of the color variables. We can leave these sizing variables in place, as we'll come up with similar ones later, but I will gut the colors, and all I need to do to fix any bugs is to just remove the reference to dark blue right here. So I could just change it to another color, or I can just remove it completely, setting the body background to white, which is the default value. Now over inside of the styles SCSS file, we're going to remove all of the component imports, leaving just the imports for the settings file and the base file. And once we have that in place, we can completely gut the styles components folder. We don't need any of these. We're going to go ahead and focus on building something different. I'm going to remove the components folder and create a new one right inside of styles. Excellent. Now, the last thing we're going to go ahead and tweak real quick would be inside of public. We have the index.html file, and we have a title right here. We could just go ahead and switch that over to boilerplate instead. So we've taken care of the public folder. We've also taken care of the source folder and its subdirectories. We have babelrc. That's not going to change. We have package.json. We don't need to tweak anything inside of here, though we could change the name up above to something like boilerplate. And we could also go ahead and open up package. Inside of the Webpack file, we have nothing specific to the Indecision app. We're going to leave this exactly as it is for the new application, and that's pretty much everything. So at this point, we have a boilerplate project. We have something that has all of the tooling in place, and we can start being productive right away by creating new components and just importing them. We already have all of the infrastructure in place. Now we can also go ahead and actually save this boilerplate project. So all we need to do that is to duplicate Expensify app. We'll be creating a more advanced boilerplate later in the course after we add our production setup, React Router, and other tools. But for now, we could have a simple version 1 boilerplate. So I'll call this boilerplate v1. Now, if we want to start a new project, we can just clone this. It comes with all of the features we need, and we don't have to worry about losing it because we're no longer editing it. We're editing Expensify app instead. So what are we going to do from here? Well, we're going to move on to the next video where we actually introduce React Router. Let's just take a quick second to switch this over to Expensify. I'm going to switch the title, and I'm also going to switch the name in package.json, Expensify in lowercase. That's it for this one. I will see you in the next video. You can download both of the boilerplates, the boilerplate v1 and the Expensify app as it currently stands in the lecture downloads for this video.